Good morning. This is Kurt Ness with Ness Brothers. I'm running a little bit late. It looks like about 25 minutes, so I apologize, but I had to run some errands and one thing led to the other. So today, again, the topic and our website is the 55 plus relocation services with the goal of using education to help reduce stress when we're talking about downsizing, when we're talking about helping other people downsize. Last couple of weeks, we talked about the barbed wire and as far as attacking one thing, a project at a time, and kind of looking at the long haul. A couple of weeks ago, I touched on the aspect of hoarding. And as we've researched hoarding, there are 4 different levels of hoarders. We talked about the first 2 levels of hoarding. And as I started analyzing it, the interesting thing about it is, in fact, this week alone had 3 different instances of hoarders. Now, these hoarders came from a variety of different backgrounds. An individual very educated was one. Dealt with an individual that has gone into the nursing home, was a little bit of a recluse. It was interesting as we looked at their house, they had cardboard over every window. In fact, a sad thing, it was a little bit depressing, just a little pathway through the home and lots of paper and individual items. And the other 2 instances were dealing with hoarders that are living at home, and family members are wanting to try to either relocate them because they are not able to take care of themselves, and so either relocating into one was locating into their house so that they could help their parents, and the other one was the individual was physically downsizing into a smaller home, but that they just had a lot of stuff. And probably the biggest question I get is, what do we do, or how do we treat, or how would we work with people that are hoarders? Hoarding is actually different books talk about OCD type of scenario. I've talked with individuals that it is an anxiety issue, that hoarding actually gives them comfort by having all their stuff around them. And so that when you're dealing with a hoarder, you just can't run in there and just start saying, well, you need to do this. Because if you think about it, if it is an anxiety issue, which I definitely believe it is, what you're doing is just increasing the anxiety. And so what's going to happen is they're just going to sit down. They are not going to address the issue. And so what my goal is in the next issue is to really dig deep into hoarding and what are some strategies that you can do to help move that hoarder individual off of dead center. Now, I've also done some research because they've done clinical studies and they've had class or seminars with the fact of putting an individual, the hoarder themselves going through an educational process. And even after going through the educational process, and this is weeks of meeting with them, they say they have about a 50% success rate. Can't talk. Success rate. So that tells me that 50% of the time they're not successful. And so what we try to do is to glean ideas from the professionals. And again, everybody's personality is different and everybody's situation is different. And trying to lay out a program that will help address the individual that is hoarding, how they get to point A and B. If you're working with a hoarder and that hoarder is living in the home, then you have to remember this is going to be a slow process. You might only get them to address 1 or 2 boxes a day. Now remember, back to my barbed wire story. If they do it daily, you're getting them in the right mindset that this is something that they have to deal with. So next week, we're going to talk more of giving you some ideas on how to deal with hoarders. And again, the goal today is through education that we can help people develop a plan when they're talking about downsizing. And by being educated, we can help also reduce some of the stress in our lives. So if you find any of these videos interesting, please share them. If you have questions that you want me to address, just send them to me. You can do it through the instant message, I believe, on Facebook, or you can email me at kurt@nessbros.com. That's KURT@nessbros.com. Otherwise, everybody have a great weekend and try to stay dry. Bye now.